Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kristen and I love to craft. Today we are going to be making 2 mini cards. I'm so excited for this because it has been such a joy to make tiny little cards, especially for my boys. They just get a kick out of it. So today I will be surprising them with these 2 cards, but let's go ahead and get into today's video. Today we are going to be doing something new to our channel. We are going to make a mini card, and I went ahead and cut out the panels with my Cricut, and we are also going to be using some Lawn Fawn stamp and die sets. The first stamp that we are going to be using is the Donna by Lawn Fawn, and it says, "You are jawsome, Donna," and it's so stinking cute. I have actually used this one before, but I have not brought it to my channel, so this is going to be very exciting to show you all how we are going to create a mini card. So I'm going to take my panel here, and this is 4 by 4, and if you do want to cut it on your Cricut, then you can create a rectangle and your dimensions will be 4 inches by 8 inches. I have my score tool here, so let's go ahead and score that line at 4 inches. So we're going to put it on sideways, find that 4-inch mark, use our tool, and press down. And then all that we have to do is just fold our card in half, and we can also use this little tool here and go over the top. That way that the card is nice and flat and it doesn't flip open. So we are going to go ahead and set this to the side. We also have our regular card panel that goes on the front, and this one is a little bit smaller than the 4-inch box. So this is going to be our card panel, and then we have our top panel as well. Let's go ahead and put up our score tool. Let's do a little bit of ink blending. We are going to start off with Gina K Designs in the shade Sea Glass, and I also want to tape up my corners. I have done this in a few recent videos, and the cards turn out so cute whenever you just add that little extra white space to your card. So that is what we are going to be doing for this one. And I'm going to put the washi tape on the very edge of the card. So we're going to line up the edge of the washi tape with the edge of the cardstock. We can go ahead and set that to the side. Okay, let's open this one up. And this is a clean brush, it's just very stained. So I'm going to stamp on the top of it and then stamp on the glass, just to go ahead and get this one all worked in. This one has not been used yet. Okay, now I'm going to take my brush and blend downwards like that. Okay, let's get some ink. Dab it on our glass mat and bring it in. Okay, Sea Glass is a very light shade of blue, and so what I'm going to do now is keep blending and working downward, and this will be probably about a few seconds of ink blending for you all, but I'm going to take my time and work with it. That looks great. Let's go ahead and put the lid back on this, and we are going to peel up the washi tape very gently. You don't want to rip your paper. What I do now is to put this away, wash my brush off, and also clean up this mat because I don't want to get any sort of ink from the ink cubes onto our card. So let's go ahead and clean up, and I'll be right back. We're going to take our Misty, which is a stamp positioning folder, and we are going to put a piece of cardstock in here. And then we are going to use the magnet to hold that piece of cardstock in place. That way that we can put our stamps on here. And we're going to be using the shark today, so we'll put him right there. And then let's add in a cute little fish with some bubbles. And then I do want to add the sentiment on here that says, "You are jawsome." So we can put that right there. All right, and then we can close up the folder, press it down, and now our stamps are over here. We can reposition this paper. Going to take my memento in the shade Tuxedo Black, and we are just going to go over the stamps. All right, that looks good and coated. So now we can close up the folder, press down gently, and that looks great. I do want to do just another layer, so we can re-stamp that one. Close it back up. All right, that looks perfect. Let me show you guys up close. This is how it turned out. Let's go get some markers and start coloring. I grabbed some markers and we are going to be using the shade GG1, YR3, GG3, and BG4. These are the Ohuhu brand. Everything that I'm using today will be linked down in the description box below, so don't forget to check it out. And also, if you go to ohuhu.com, they do have color swatches. What I did was I took my markers and I colored in the space that was labeled for that specific color. And it's so much easier to pick out my colors this way because sometimes the label on here doesn't exactly look like the color that it actually is. And so that is just a little helpful tip. We can definitely cut this down some, that way that we can use this for our other card, but I do want to go ahead and start coloring. So let's do GG1, and we also have a GG3. So one is lighter than the other, and we can do the light color on top of the little shark. Now for the bottom portion of the shark, let's go in with GG3. And I do like to use the brush tip. It also comes with a fine tip as well. Now we are going to color the little fish in the shade YR3. And I kind of wanted this to look like a goldfish, even though sharks are saltwater and goldfish are freshwater, but it's still going to look super cute. And then I did want to color the little bubbles in the shade BG4. Okay, now that it's all colored in, let's go get our Sizzix Big Shot so we can cut these out. Is our Sizzix Big Shot. I also have the dies in here. This is a cool folder that I got from Amazon, and I always put my stamps in the front pocket, and then on the back side this sheet is magnetic, and so the dies stick to it. Super handy. So I'm going to get out the shark, the fish, and the bubbles. It does not come with a sentiment die, but we will just trim it down. The Sizzix Big Shot does come with all of the cutting plates that you need, and the cutting plates do have instructions on them just in case you don't want to hold on to the pamphlet that it comes with, so that is super handy. I also like to use a piece of washi tape just to secure those dies down, because if they move around whenever you are rolling it through, it can definitely mess up your picture that you just colored or anything that you're cutting out. Okay, it looks pretty center, so I'm going to put that washi tape down. And let's go ahead and do the fish and the bubbles. I'm also going to go ahead and just cut off down here. That way that we don't mess up our sentiment. But let's go ahead and roll it through. Okay, now we can go ahead and peel off that washi tape and just pop these cuts out, and look how cute that is. Oh my goodness, this is turning out so cute. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pop these out and put these dies back up so that I don't lose them, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we have our shark, our front card panel, the little fish, and the bubbles. Now we just need to trim down our sentiment, and I'm going to make the lines as straight as possible, but y'all know me, I cannot cut anything straight, but we are just going to try our best. Okay, one side looks a little bit higher than the other, so let's try to trim it. All right, that looks great. Now let's go ahead and get out some foam dots and start building up our card. I use these foam dots from Hobby Lobby, and they are usually about 40% off, so these were $4.49. But let's see, I do want to use a bigger dot for the shark. So we'll put one right there, maybe one towards the back, and then we can definitely use a smaller one for the fish. Uh-oh, we almost forgot about these bubbles, so let me go ahead and add on just a small little pop dot for these. And then for the sentiment, we can use some of these smaller ones. We'll put about 3 on there. And then we can peel off the backing. Use my reverse tweezers to kind of place things. So I'm going to place the shark probably about right there. And then the sentiment maybe there. I don't want to stick anything down just yet. Uh-oh, where'd the fish go? Oh, it's on my finger. Okay, so let's see. We could put the shark about right there, and then put the bubbles somewhere up there. Maybe move the shark up just a little bit though. Okay, so let's push him down, push that one down, that one, and this one, because we know that that is where we want to place it. And I have some enamel dots that I picked up from Hobby Lobby. They are over in the sticker section, and I thought that these would be really cute for this card. So let's see if these look okay, or if we should do like some clear dewdrops. So let's see. I'm thinking that maybe if we add on a couple dewdrops, it'll be really cute. My wax tip tool is, but I do have this one and it has sort of like a rubbery end, and I'm hoping that it'll pick up little tiny gems. And it did work, so that's awesome. I'm thinking that maybe we should just go with a clear one instead of these. I wish that you guys could tell me. It's so hard making this decision. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to find that wax tip tool because it's so handy whenever you are doing projects like this with these tiny little things. Or I just need to buy a couple of them, that way that if I lose one, it's kind of like scissors. I am constantly losing my scissors in my craft room, and I have a bunch of extras, and it's exactly why I have extras, because I'm always losing them. All right, I really love that clear dewdrop, and I'm thinking that maybe we should add 2 like super tiny ones to the bottom as well. Maybe one like right there, and then let's get a really tiny one again. Kind of like that. Oh wow, I like that. Okay, so now my precision tip glue bottle, and we are going to put just a tiny bit of glue, and I always like to squeeze it out just to kind of get it started to make sure it's not clogged or anything. I'm going to put a tiny little drop right there, and put the gem on top. And let's do another one. And we'll put it right there. Okay, now let's do, I love the placement of this, so I really don't want to mess it up. But we can do 3 more dots. Dry, and then we will attach it to our card base. Now let's go ahead and flip this over, and we do have a roll of double-sided foam tape. This can be picked up at Hobby Lobby as well. And while I'm thinking about it, got some more. So this is double-sided foam tape as well, and it is 1/4 inch wide. And this one is 3/4 inch wide, which is this one that I usually use. I'm going to use my scissors just to cut off a few inches. And we want to place it on the back. I'll probably do about 3 strips. I think that that is the perfect amount. So I'm going to do 1 at the bottom, 1 at the top, and then 1 in the middle. Like that. And then I'll use my pokey tool again to get off those backings. Now let's make sure that the card is going to open up correctly like that. We don't want it to be upside down because I have done that before. Then we want to center the card as best as possible. That, press it down gently. And look how stinking cool that this card turned out. I had so much fun with this one. Let's go ahead and move on to our next card. The next card that we will be making is going to be another Lawn Fawn stamp and die set. So this is called So Jelly, and I actually have 2 of these stamp and die sets. So I'm going to take out the one that I have used before, and we are going to take a piece of cardstock, put it down, and use that magnetic tool right here to keep it in place. And I'm going to use the cute little octopus, and then we are going to use the starfish. And I don't know, let's see, we're definitely going to use the bubbles again. And it says, "Your star, I'm so jelly," so maybe we should use both of the sentiments. And let's get those positioned pretty well. And there's also a cute little exclamation mark. So I'm going to put that one right next to your star. And then it says, "I'm so jelly." And we're going to put it pretty center as best as we can. Let's go ahead and close up the folder again. Open it back up. Reposition that cardstock, and then we are going to go in with the Memento in Tuxedo Black again. Close that folder up, press it down, and I also like to go over it twice just to make sure that we have that even coat on there. Close it up again. Okay, that looks great. Now what I want to do is get out some markers, that way that we can color a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up and I'll be right back. Okay, I grabbed some markers and we are going to be doing the shades R23, R11, BG4, and PB7. So for PB7, that is going to be the little bubbles. And then for the little starfish, I think that we should go in with the shade R23. I want to make just a little mark just to make sure. Okay, and then I'm thinking for the little jellyfish, those two colors, I think that'll look great. So again, R23 for the starfish. And then we are going to do R11 for the jellyfish. Okay, and then for the bottom part of the jellyfish, we are going to go in with BG4. And we'll color in those cute little dots up there. Okay, I'm going to run this through my Sizzix Big Shot and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got everything cut out. I also want to do another ink blending front panel with this ink cube called Sweet Corn by Gina K Designs. So let's go ahead and open this one up. And I also want to tape off the edges again. I'm going to take another ink blending brush. This is clean. I've already washed it, but it's stained, of course. So let's go ahead and just dab on here, dab onto our glass mat, and then we are going to work our way down. It looks like this is a very light color. So I'm going to probably have to take some time blending again, and I will be right back. So I am done with that. I'm going to go ahead and put that to the side and start peeling up the washi tape. Now let's go ahead and start building up our card. So need to cut out our sentiment. So I'm going to just trim this down for now. And let's try to get some straight lines. It's going to be kind of hard. The sentiment is kind of awkward. So for the sentiment, I think we should probably put it maybe in the middle. It kind of looks like a Polaroid. I think that's cute. So I'm going to, let's see, let's trim it down on the sides a little bit more. Like that. Okay, that's cute. So let's roll with that, and then we will put the jellyfish right there, the starfish right there, and then some cute little bubbles. So now I want to get out some foam dots. Let's do the bigger foam dots for our sentiment. And since it's pretty long, let's do about 3 of those. And we'll peel off those backings. And let's go ahead and put it on there. I do see a spot where I probably should trim it up a little bit. Okay, that looks better. And then we will put this along the bottom, like that. And then we can use some of the big pop dots again, since these are pretty big. So we'll use one right there, and then one right there. Go ahead and take off those backings. Should we have one higher than the other? I think so. Maybe put one right there. And then we'll use a smaller pop dot, of course, for the little bubbles. Oops. Since this is so tiny, I do want to use my reverse tweezers. And it looks like we might need to move the paper a little bit. There we go. Okay. Now we can place it down, let's see, about right there. Let's go ahead and move these out of the way. I think we should go with some of the clear dewdrops just because these are pretty big and it's going to take up a lot of room. It might look a little funky, so we definitely won't be using these this time, which I'm kind of sad about because these were actually one of my favorite things to pick up from Hobby Lobby the other day. but we'll definitely be implementing these in our future cards. All right, so let's get out our dewdrops again. And let's find some really tiny ones. Okay, so I went through the gems and I picked out the ones that I thought that would look best. And I'm going to do 3 over here. And let's move these 2 probably over here is kind of what I'm thinking, something like that. That looks great. So now I want to take my precision tip glue bottle and I want to just put a little dab of glue. And then we will add 3 more little dots up here. Like that. Okay, now I'm going to let this dry and clean up this mess, and I'll be right back. While we are waiting for this to dry, let's go ahead and score our card base. So again, this is 4 by 8, and we are going to score it at the 4-inch mark, the tool, and just go over the top. That way that our card lays really flat. And then we can set this to the side. I went ahead and cut out 3 strips of the double-sided foam tape, and we are going to put 3 on there. So 1 at the bottom, 1 at the top, and then 1 at the middle. And we can go ahead and peel off those backings as well. And then we're going to center it as best as possible, like that. Press it down gently, make sure it's good and on there. And here are the 2 cards that we made today. I hope that you all enjoyed this video just as much as I did, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!